On September 13th, 2017, the IT manager at a Russian bank was living a normal life. Everything was going great. But at exactly 3 a.m. on that date, the bank's accounting manager called him. His voice was shaking as he said, "Call the IT team right now. The situation is extremely serious." Without asking why, the IT guy contacted the Kaspersky team and begged them to send someone to the bank immediately. He told them, "It looks like the problem that's been baffling the world has now hit Russia." Sure enough, Kaspersky sent an IT specialist to the bank in just 15 minutes. He met up with the IT employee, and there was the shock. Someone had taken control of the main domain controller, the unit that controls every computer in the bank, every action. If you don't know what that means, let me explain. Controlling that unit means you control everything in the bank. Imagine the IT manager and the IT expert sitting in front of the main server computer, watching the hackers send data to China for no logical reason. The Kaspersky expert was stunned by the power and scale of the breach. He completely lost hope of blocking or stopping it. But he started hunting for the malicious software to minimize the damage as much as possible. After a long search, by pure chance, he found a program the hacker was using to monitor and remotely control the computer. In that moment, he asked a really weird question. Is it possible the hackers are watching us right now? An idea struck him. He opened Microsoft Word, typed "hello" in Russian, and waited. For minutes, nothing changed in the system. But suddenly, the mouse cursor moved, and a word appeared on the screen. The hacker replied in Russian, "You won't catch us." The Kaspersky expert responded, "We will catch you." But the hacker wrote back, "No, my dear, you won't." From this bizarre situation, a psychological war began between professional hackers and the cybersecurity team, and this was the start of one of the most dangerous hacking operations in history. But who won in the end? The hackers or the banks, security teams, and investigators? If you're watching us for the first time, we're the Did You channel, and we talk about everything unknown, strange, and mysterious. In this video, we'll talk about a massive hacking operation that happened on Earth. Most thefts and hacking operations happen once. One strike, steal a big amount, and done. But this one lasted 2 years, with thefts in 30 countries. The story has weird details and twists. Let me just say this. This story is extremely secret. All names and data disclosed are 100% redacted. The reason is simple. If you knew the details of a theft like this, it could cause a global economic crisis. Before we begin, I want first-time viewers to subscribe to the channel and everyone to support the video with a like. Who are the Carbons? This group wasn't just ordinary hackers stealing a few credit cards or doing a simple breach. No, these were geniuses of the digital world, a highly organized criminal network operating like a big corporation.
Imagine, they had different teams for every stage of the operation. A hacking team, a monitoring team, and a third team whose job was to steal the money and transfer it. It was so integrated, they even had people on the ground. Their job was to collect cash from ATMs. And trust me, when you learn how they robbed the ATMs, you'll be amazed by their genius. They worked silently, observed, gathered info, and didn't move until they knew every detail. Even after the theft, they laundered the money in a genius way and hid their tracks so well that even the top cybersecurity investigators couldn't get them. The whole story started in 2014. At that time, no one knew them and they had no major activity. Their only task was to quietly and smartly monitor, understand the internal systems of each bank and every account in it. In a clever way, they tested vulnerabilities, but without exploiting them or doing anything. Not just that, now I'll tell you some programming details. I want the programmers out there to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't think I will be. Before I tell you about the gang's structure, numbers, and how they assembled, we need to know how they studied the software systems and how they hacked. Phase 1. Just monitoring. They targeted a bank, for example, one in China. Through research, they'd discover vulnerabilities, note them down, but never touch them. They'd spot a vulnerability, confirm it was real, and try to enter the system without drawing attention. If the vulnerability was obvious, they'd patch it themselves and leave a backdoor key so when attack time came, they'd reopen it and slip in. They stayed like this for a long time. Their only job was gathering data on banks worldwide. Now, let me tell you about their first real strike in Ukraine.
During reconnaissance, they found a vulnerability in this bank's system. When execution time came, they exploited it brilliantly. It started on April 8, 2014, a low-level employee sitting in this bank. The whole idea was they sent him a very ordinary email. The email was addressed to the employee with an official subject in the exact style of the bank's internal system, so it seemed like a normal email from upper management. When the employee opened the attached file, he saw just a regular Word document. In reality, that file was booby-trapped. Imagine, it contained malicious code. As soon as he opened the document, the code exploited an old Microsoft Word vulnerability and unleashed a virus on his device. This virus opened a back door to the entire bank's system. The genius move that the hackers could now see everything happening on that employee's device. They monitored his screen, recorded every keystroke, every password, anything he typed on the keyboard, they had it. The employee had no idea his device was hacked and under the hacker's eyes. For the hacker group, this employee became a gateway to something bigger. Through his device, they could see everything happening in the bank. So they started with one device, then gradually conquered all the bank's servers and devices, every action. Their first step was monitoring daily operations. Imagine hackers sitting far away, watching every move in the bank's system, everything, no exceptions. After about 2 years of monitoring, the first theft happened in a mythical style. The hack was in Ukraine, but the theft was in Taiwan's capital, Taipei, on July 10, 2016. 2 Carbanak gang members went out to execute the planned operation. They wore medical masks and ordinary fishing hats. They entered a bank in central Taipei. One stood at the entrance, monitoring and ensuring everything was under control. The second stood in front of the ATM. He didn't do anything suspicious, no card, no PIN. He just stood waiting. If you check the surveillance cameras, you'd see he literally did nothing, just stood waiting. The shock? Suddenly, without warning, the machine started spitting out cash non-stop. The scene was like a dream. He stood waiting for it to happen. Even he was surprised when it started dispensing everything inside. All he had to do was calmly collect the money and put it in his bag. That's when the shock hit. A stranger approached. His friend warned him, "Run, a guy's coming to the ATM." They didn't hesitate, dropped everything and left quickly and quietly. They'd been trained on this escape method for a long time. Now imagine the stranger who came. He wanted to withdraw money, approached the ATM and saw all that cash on the ground. He couldn't process that he'd walked into a real crime scene. The question now, if you were in his place and saw all that money on the ground, what would you do? Be honest and write in the comments. As for this guy, he left the ATM without doing anything, not even withdrawing his own money. Of course, you're wondering now, how much did the thieves steal from this machine? And did the story end there? No, because the same operation with the same details happened at 20 locations around the world at the exact same moment, same second. 20 ATMs worldwide dispensed all their cash. This repeated several times over 2 years. So the big question, what was happening and how did these thieves arrive at the right time to grab the money? I might surprise you if I say bank managers initially thought it was a coincidence that the people who took the money weren't thieves, but lucky folks. To avoid confusion, let's organize our thoughts step by step. First, the gang was run by one man with 20 of the world's top programmers. Each had their own team. The most important and dangerous feature of this gang, total secrecy. No one knew anyone else. Tasks were divided by nicknames. Everyone knew their job, when to start and when to end. Imagine the leader had a dashboard running the whole gang from it. You log into your device, see your required tasks, do them without knowing what's happening with the whole team. Everyone was organized, everyone disciplined. Phase 1, recon team. These are the ones I told you about first. Their job was scanning systems, finding vulnerabilities, and testing them. Results went to the second team, the hacking team. Their job was experimentally and actually breach the system, like penetration testing maneuvers without doing anything to verify the result's effectiveness. They'd confirm the vulnerability worked, and at attack time, they'd breach, deploy malicious files from the recon phase. After recon, fake, and actual hacking, there's a monitoring team. They do nothing but oversee the recon and hacking process. Once inside the system, the fourth team kicks in, research and verification. Their job, extract as much info as possible, secret codes, bank accounts, client names, daily transaction volumes, everything in the system. Why? To hand it to the fifth team, analysis and study. They analyze the data in detail, like an intelligence agency taking raw info and processing it for the sixth team, planning and execution. Their job, create a full plan for the theft, from system breach to grabbing cash and converting bank numbers to physical money in the gang's hands. This team executes and manages the theft, and usually all teams participate. But not all were hackers. Some worked on the ground. Who? The ATM thieves. Here's a point of great creativity, integration between the smart programmer glued to his screen and Europe's veteran thieves and kidnappers.
The Carbone leader was networked and allied with a massive Russian gang. Its members spread worldwide. The deal was simple. We hack and steal in the virtual world, you collect the cash, and we meet in the real world. The hackers programmed ATMs creatively to dispense all cash at a set time. They'd send ordinary people, mere cash mules, to stand in front of the machines and wait. As soon as it started spitting money, they'd collect and flee. Of course, this was one method. They robbed banks in three ways. One via ATMs in collaboration with the Russian gang's cash mules. The second method they used, and the deal was clear, whoever collects gets 10% of the amount. The remaining 90% split 50% to hackers, 40% to the mules. Logically, you're not doing much. Just send your guys to stand at the ATM at the set time, grab the cash, hide it. So 40% is a great rate, especially if I tell you they stole over $50 million a month this way. Minimal effort, mythical returns. If you refused and said 40% is low, they'd simply work with someone else. You can't do anything because you don't know who they are or anything about them. Now, the funny part, their first theft, as we said, was executed this way in 2016. Imagine, 20 machines worldwide at once dispensing all cash. When tech teams investigated, they said it was just a programming glitch. They didn't know it was planned, their systems hacked. They said, no, just a glitch. The cash collectors, in their eyes, not a gang, just lucky people. The real irony that actually makes you laugh. The first hack happened, as we said, via a Ukrainian employee's computer, but the theft was 2 years after hacking his device. After the theft, when experts analyzed, they called the whole thing a programming error. The bank manager met with employees, including our clueless guy who knew nothing. The manager was furious. This theft happened because you haven't updated your Windows versions. Update them. Some employees get new versions via official emails from management and don't update. Imagine the manager wanting to give an example of a lazy employee who doesn't open emails, and he picks our guy who was the root of the whole problem in banks worldwide. Of course, the story didn't stay that ridiculous. Later, they realized it wasn't coincidence, it was theft. But they learned the programming truth when they checked bank surveillance cameras and saw the two guys at the ATM I told you about, one monitoring, one waiting for money. They saw he had a bag, was prepared, and when a stranger came, they dropped everything and fled calmly, despite $60,000 on the ground. That's when the real digital war began. Over 2 years, the gang hit 100 banks in 30 countries, most in first place Russia and China, second USA and Europe and others. Total stolen over $1 billion USD. Given the sensitivity, most details are secret. Bank names, investigators, affected countries, theft methods, gang members, all undisclosed. But we know after the first 2016 theft, that bank teamed up with Kaspersky to track the gang. The result? It was huge. The world facing a gang infiltrating for 2 years. Kaspersky mobilized all its global branches, but the first direct clash with the hackers was the story I told at the video's start. When they typed hello in Russian and the hacker replied minutes later, "You won't catch us." This was the first cybersecurity versus hackers clash. One thing I didn't mention at the start, the computer wasn't just sending data, it was issuing commands from Russia to ATMs in China. The machines were dispensing cash fully. The IT manager and Kaspersky expert watched helplessly. Finally, after hours of work, the expert found and deleted the malicious file, but too late, the ATMs were empty. Here, hacker details started unraveling bit by bit.
Kaspersky developers told investigators and bank management, "We need months just to analyze. We can't do anything now to understand how they stole." It didn't stop at ATMs. The hackers stole in 3 ways, each smarter than the last. First, money transfers. They'd transfer from fake accounts to theirs, create a fake account with fake balance, transfer to real, but the transfer wouldn't show. An account showing $100,000 withdraws it cash, while another deposits $10,000 simultaneously. How'd they avoid suspicion? Genius. They'd preload balances beforehand. Account A, $100,000 fake. 9 hours earlier, deposit $10,000 real in account B. Net balance, unchanged, but internal data manipulated. No one notices. Account credited $100,000. 9 hours later, opens new $100,000 account. Zero's fake. No money left. Why 9 hours? Banks review accounts every 9. Everything under that, no one senses fake transfers. This way, they stole over $300 million worldwide. Second way, ATM control. Third, smartest and most complex. They'd create bank accounts in ordinary people's names. These were the Russian gang's cash mules cooperating with them. Each account had a tiny amount, usually $3.33. Then they'd do magic. The details still unclear and undisclosed. With it, they'd alter bank data, swapping $3.33 for $1 million. Suddenly, all cash mules became millionaires. This stole millions, and I'll say again, details still secret today. The idea is genius. If revealed, it'd be catastrophic. Imagine, Kaspersky and all agencies on this can't reach any key gang member to this day. The irony, everything unraveled traditionally. This happened after Taiwan police hit the ground. The hackers' first mistake, exposing their riskiest theft method, involved ordinary people too. Folks with empty accounts got messages saying $1 million appeared. They went to banks to withdraw, revealing the final, deadliest method. Kaspersky started understanding hacker tactics better, getting a clearer picture of the operation's complexity. Cooperation began with Europol, major European banks, and the FBI. They tracked hackers step by step, seizing some servers, but hackers upped the game with more complex pro methods. Kaspersky experts concluded these hackers are unbeatable tech-wise. We won't out-tech them, pursue them traditionally. Taiwan police entered, patrols walking capital streets, plus 500-plus officers reviewing every camera angle tracking suspects from hotels. Indeed, they spotted 20 working with the Russian gang, mostly Russians, rest Eastern Europeans. When exposed, 17 fled Taiwan, 3 stayed with the cash. Their faces spread via media, so they had to dump money fast and flee differently, like swimming to China or hiding in shipping containers. For dumping cash, one hid 2 sports bags full in Donju Park, fled to Yung Province, hid there, but police were faster, caught him, recovered bags. Shock? They knew 2 bags, but found 1. A smart guy found the second, took it home, God's gift. Police recovered it too. Another gang member did the same, hid bag in main train station locker. Soon, 2 Eastern Europeans arrived from the airport, straight to station, grabbed bags, went to a hotel to rest. Police raided, searched room, found $1.5 million. Taiwan police recovered 90% of the stolen funds from their country, sentenced the 3 to over 4 years. But the challenge? These guys were just chess pawns, worthless to the smuggling network. Shock? The pawns had info worth $1 billion. Taiwan police found on one arrestee's phone photos of massive cash piles in various currencies, all sent to a specific email. From here, cybersecurity firms with FBI and many authorities investigated. Shock, that email was the mastermind, the gang leader who planned the network. The leader, Denis, Ukraine's top hacker. Denis was the brain, living lavishly in Spain, luxury home, wife, young child, programming genius with some 15,000 bitcoins, worth over $122 million then. Today, the guy's got $1.5 billion. Best part, the 15,000 were legit, no shady deals in his wallet. So why go criminal with all that wealth? The whole thing was a personal challenge to prove he could hack any digital fortress. Denis was smart enough to know not everything's buyable with Bitcoin, cars, real estate, luxury, quietly. But that move was his fatal error. Kaspersky wasn't sure about his email, suspected 30 others. Among them, Denis was the weirdest or most mysterious, so police tracked his money, every financial move a new thread. They confirmed he was the Joker, Carbone leader. Early 2018, they raided his home. His computer was open, no password, fatal blow. Investigators accessed everything. True, gang used fake names, but he was exposed as the mastermind. Police seized 2 BMWs from his garage, $500,000 jewelry, and Bitcoin. Still, most of the $1 billion stolen remains missing. A year later, Interpol nabbed 3 more Ukrainians from Denis's network, but that's it. To this day, Denis's network, over 30 hacker programmers, unknown. Some sources say Denis and crew were part of Russia's cyber army, all backed and covered by Russia to sow Western chaos. No official proof. What matters to me and you? Don't open any link, even if verifying from sender. Don't log in to unsure sites. There are many like Denis everywhere, and even the sender might be tricked. Everyone stay alert. That was our story today. Hope you liked it. If into hacker or theft stories, check how the biggest dark web website was hacked and robbed. I'll read all your comments. See you in a new video.